What's going on, everyone? Another week, another status report. We have a lot to talk about again this week, but I did want to start off by saying I do appreciate all the support everyone has been showing recently on these videos. Everyone that's been hitting the like button and sharing these videos, thank you so much for your support. And let's get into this week's status report. Again, if you don't know what these are, devs do these to let us know what will be coming to DayZ Standalone and what we can look forward to in future updates. So let's start off with the centralized loot architecture. This basically has to do with changing the quantity and location of where the loot spawns. They actually posted this pie chart that you can see right there, and it is the current top 10 items that spawn in the game in 4.8 stable, and it's showing that basically you can see from that most of it is canned foods. A lot of it is, you know, peaches, tuna, stuff like that, and you can see that's the current top 10 items that spawn in the game, and they are working on changing that. So they said, quote, as we push more on the survival mechanics and the centralized loot control, these item quantities begin to drop, and hopefully the amount of base survival items such as fishing hooks, rope, burlap sacks, and tools increases. So they kind of want to get away from the canned foods spawning everywhere and having the top 10 items spawning in the game being canned foods, to having the top items maybe be, you know, fishing hooks, stuff like that. More of a survival you know, mechanics coming in, and you going out and getting your food instead of having it just spawn in cities and going in and easily getting tons of cans like you can do right now. And yeah, so let's move on to the next slide, which has to do with the centralized loot, but this time talking about ammo. Alright, so as you can see here, we have another pie chart. This one is current ammo distribution in the game. The highest amount of ammo spawning in is 357 and shotgun ammo. That's some of the highest that's spawning in the game right now in 4.8. They did say this is all due to change once there is a chance for mags to spawn with weapons. Now they did want to make sure people understood that they're talking about a chance of mags spawning with weapons. This won't happen every time you find a weapon. You're not always going to find a magazine or a clip sitting right next to it. There's only a chance of this happening. And they went on to say, but given the randomness of every weapon spawning across Trinaris, at least a few should have magazines or clips. So there you go, not every weapon that you will come across in the future is going to have a magazine or a clip sitting next to it, but there is a chance of that, and I think that's a good idea. Let me know what you think down below. Do you want it to stay the way it is right now? They're probably also looking for feedback, so drop a comment, let us know what you think. Do you think it should stay the way it is? I think this is actually a good idea. It's nice every now and then to find a weapon with a magazine sitting next to it with some ammo there. I mean, it's not going to be too much, hopefully, but just something to get you started. Let's move on to something a little bit more exciting, some new weapons coming in. You might remember these from last week since we did talk about some of them. The Rossi R92, the weapon that you see there in the picture in the back, is finished being animated and almost ready to go, and it will be coming hopefully in the next couple experimental updates. Then we have the MP133 shotgun currently being animated. That one we did also talk about last week, so you can go check that out if you missed that. But yeah, that's another weapon they are currently working on. And there is work in progress for an AKS74U and a Derringer Pistol. So some exciting stuff. There were no pictures released for the AKS74U or the Derringer Pistol, but we'll have to wait and see about those hopefully in the next few status reports. But yeah, there you go, some new weapons coming, which is always cool. But there is also something I do want to talk about, which is some new zombies currently being worked on. So let's get to that slide. Now this is something I'm pretty happy about. We all have to kill a ton of zombies in DayZ Standalone, so it's going to be nice to actually look at some new ones as we kill them here soon. So they are working on new civilian zombies and also looking into expanding the number of zombie heads for models so that they aren't so repetitive. I can't wait to see what these look like, and I think it's definitely time for some new zombies in DayZ Standalone. Now I did also want to talk about the civilian airport hangar that we talked about last week. We were not sure if it was for Northeast, but they did end up confirming that this week by saying, quote, we're continuing work on the civilian airport structures to replace objectives at the North East Airfield. Okay, so let's talk about player spawns. The developers said they do know that there is a lack of traffic right now in the classic cities like Cherno and Electro and some of those other places. And they said to begin with, they did end up taking those spawns out due to the design and also Belota Airfield. What I'm taking from that is they didn't want people spawning in that area, going to Belota Airfield, getting a weapon, coming back to the same city they spawned in, getting into a fight, and then dying. They didn't want people doing that because people weren't moving, so they were just doing that same thing over and over again, and people were staying in those same areas and not moving because they didn't have to go too far to get a weapon. But we will be going back there now, because as you can see, they said with the centralized loot system and also redesigning of Belota Airfield, it's going to be less of an issue. So I'm guessing what they did was they took out a lot of the military loot from Belota Airfield, and they're going to tone it down just like they are doing to North East Airfield. And as of 4.9, when that hits stable, players will begin to spawn along the coast from Cherno all the way up into Novo. So that whole coast, you will be able to spawn there again in Cherno, again in Electro, and those areas down there. But they did add that there is a new military base. They said, quote, a new further inland military base was created. So basically going inland for military gear, not being able to just grab it from the coast. I think this is pretty interesting. I can't wait to see what they ended up doing with Belota Airfield, how they toned that down, and what this new military base looks like, and also where it's located. They said it's inland. How far inland is this military base? We'll have to wait and see. And going on to our last slide, this is a very exciting one. All of them have been exciting today, to be honest, but we have some new items coming in. Of course, the Firefighter's helmet and the SPOSN or SPOSN backpack are both finished now, and they will be coming in experimental shortly. They did say that they are also working on some waterproof stuff, containers to keep players gear dry during the rain, and also they added that work has begun on craftable player gear and items related to that system. So we'll see what ends up happening with the craftable stuff. I'm really excited for that. I did add a list that they posted on there, which is items that are currently being worked on, art that's being done for these items, and that list is really interesting. So there is some stuff that we talked about, but there is some stuff that they didn't really talk about in this status report, but they did include on this list at the bottom of it. So we have the M4 drum mag, which I didn't think would ever come, but it is on the way. As you can see, art is being worked on for that right now. Also an AK101 retexture. That's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. We got some smoke, it looks like white and black, smoke grenades, of course the waterproof stuff that we just talked about earlier, and some interesting stuff like a bottle of vodka. We got packets of cigarettes. So this list is interesting for sure. If you do want to pause the video and look at some of that stuff, you can go ahead and do that. There's a lot on there, but hopefully we get some more info about these items in the next status report. And I do want to thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like. There will be more videos like this coming. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.